it looks like in the 18th century there were accounts of demons killed by witchcraft.
In the 19th century, it was wrongly believed that the last image seen by the eyes of a dying person would be fixed on the retina.
There have been few occasions in the 20th century when it's been an advantage to be a Jew.
Meanwhile, back in the 21st century, people are raising their tray tables and putting their seatbacks in an upright position because it's time to land in San Francisco.
He got that moniker when he was shooting low-budget westerns in the 1940s because his fallback for any boring composition.
Evidence was found that an Auschwitz Blockführer emigrated from Germany in the 1940s.
Which is precisely what happened in the 1950s.
Well, you guys know that this mountain was the site of a string of alien abductions and lynchings in the 1950s, right?
Turns out, Creed was in the band The Grassroots in the 1960s.
Hey, Jerry. In the 1960s, there was a young man graduated from University of Michigan.
He died in the 1970s, and a group of OSs in Northern California got together and wrote a new version of him.
About when I called before, asked you to look up that fella Thaddeus Mobley, lived here in the 1970s.
Who won the Tony for Best Musical in 1995?
Why does he think he's in 1996?
Tech bubble burst in 2001, and the housing market in San Jose, the tech capital of the world.
In 2008, a professor at Santa Clara University replicated the obedience experiments and got roughly the same results.
I saw him play Tel Aviv in 2017.
But now winter is truly coming, and in the winter...
In the winter, the boy would freeze, and in the summer, he would boil.
Auschwitz! The bums that sleep on the street, even in winter.
I'm like the boy who goes for wood in winter and comes back in the spring with a whistle.
We actually met him here in the spring for like 5 seconds.
And in spring, I shoot the rooks and help at pig killing, sir.
And what happens in summer stays in summer, right?
Paris in the summer, what it must have been like to sit opposite one's lover at Maxime's in its...
And I can't wait to see what my buddies all think of me. Just imagine how much cooler I'll be in summer.
If you don't get a job from the showcase, you go to school in the fall.
Central Park in fall, how you tore your dress.
I'd love to drive through New England in the fall.
In autumn, they disappear.
I can smell leaves burning in autumn.
One in autumn, one in winter.
There was a report about Elisa Hoberman in January 1980, but it's out of here.
And this year I got to the 3rd week in January.
So, are you telling me that your relationship began 2 years ago and not in February as you previously testified to here?
How do you like Wisconsin in February?
Oh, by the by, I'm getting married in March.
Back in March, she went to live with her daughter Rachel in Chicago.
Okay, guys, Giles said Faith wants us to start early in the morning, so...
Do you think you'd get a chance to pick up some milk for their kids? For their cereal in the morning?
Ask me again in the morning.
Sometimes in the mornings, I sit on a bench there, and I watch the people make a wish and lock it in a lock on the bridge.
Cody, no more Marco Polo in the mornings.
There's nothing like love in the afternoon.
2:30 in the afternoon sort of feeling, know what I'm saying?
He's up at the dam in the afternoons.
In the afternoons, I would send you ahead to look for a camp, and you would wait for me.
Well, I know you're not good in the afternoons.
You know how you get sick in the afternoons?
In the evening, we gathered for dinner.
I'm building a porch here so I can sit of an evening, smoke my pipe, drink coffee, and watch the sunset.
See that he doesn't get drunk in the evenings.
She sometimes leaves in the evenings to go take care of her mother, who's been pretty sick recently.
Couldn't we work in the evenings?
Purple in the morning, blue in the afternoon, orange in the evening.
It's something I know has worked in the past, but it's risky.
I was a gypsy in the past.
So please, let's just leave the past in the past, okay?
Already talked about in the past, fighting more on instinct.
As we've all learned, in the future, most of our universe will be destroyed by an intergalactic war.
But trust me, in the future, you'll be much happier if you always tell me the truth.
I've come from even farther in the future to tell you that Jenny and the flock are gonna attack the fort.
And you know, in the future, if anyone tells you you can't watch, tell them I said you can.
Well, we'll be back in civilization in 2 days.
I haven't eaten in 2 days.
I would have to bounce for a month to make what I made in 2 hours last night.
We'll be there in 2 hours.
I'll be there in 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes, you won't be thinking about Marianne ever again.
I haven't seen her in 2 months.
In 3 months, in 2 days. In 2 weeks. We'll also arrive in 2 weeks.
But no one has heard from him in 2 years.
So I shouldn't expect to have a job in 2 years?